My retirement exposed a question about me that I had never really asked before. Did I choose solitude, or was it something that I just kind of got used to and adapted to? My wife, she's a natural when it comes to making and keeping friends. She's far from lonely, and I love that about her. I, on the other hand, well, if it weren't for her, I'm not sure I could say that I even have a single close friend. Do I think of myself as lonely? Usually, no. My wife retired as a U.S. Post Office window clerk some 10 years ago, and she still regularly gets together for lunch with many of her former co-workers. And she takes daily walks with friends from the neighborhood. I'm Mel, by the way. And have you ever had lonely feelings, but you weren't sure if you wanted more people in your life? And that's what I want to get into today. My small business closed down some 20 years ago, which basically forced my retirement. Now, I had a few employees during those years, but none of them were close friends. And as I look back, all my jobs and businesses were structured pretty much the same way. There were customers, there were employees, suppliers, but there really were no coworkers or work associates, and certainly no business partners. Maybe that's because at heart, yeah, I'm a loner. I usually prefer solitude. On walks, well, I prefer to walk alone and think. That's my joy. That's where that's where I reflect. I dream. I reminisce. And I meditate. I get energy from nature, from solitude, not so much from people. Then retirement hits, and can I get lonely? Well, if I'm being honest, sometimes I do. But, I don't see being alone as a negative, especially as an introvert. Yet, I still find myself asking, am I missing something? So, this is me at 75, not giving advice, but trying to understand something about myself. And if my story resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Ever since my childhood, I can see signs of this solitude. I was a Lego kid before they were even invented. I'd play with Lincoln logs, red bricks, erector sets. Remember those? And throughout private school, college, my church years, I maintained a group of friends. Then some of them I became quite close with. Then I married my college sweetheart and we moved away. Then I discovered something about myself. I discovered that I really didn't need a large social circle at all. And my work life and personal life reflected that. I was in traveling sales, one on one consulting. And in sports, I liked sports like golf. I could spend hours alone being creative or honing a skill. My jobs, well, they gave me enough contacts to suit me. And my wife, well, she filled that deeper need. And honestly, I never felt like I was missing anything. Then retirement came and removed all those casual contacts. Now, I didn't notice that at first. It was like someone sneakily turned down the volume. And at first, well, that suited me. But in time, the silence started to get loud. And for the first time in my life, I began to wonder if there was a difference between not needing people and not really realizing how much they mattered to me. Then, when my wife nearly died some years ago, it raised a question that I had never really asked before. What would my life be like without her? What would it be like without my best friend? And I didn't like the answer. You know, I've noticed that many retirees fall into one of two camps. Extroverts who suddenly lose all the people that matter so much to them, and introverts who now realize that they've become mostly self contained, almost like they've built a protective shell around themselves. Well, that's me, the introvert. But that shield, for me, I'm wondering if that shield has been keeping people away, whether I'm choosing to do that or not. Now, I still do love my solitude. I love the quiet, and I need the quiet. I still treasure those walks. But my retirement has made me come to realize that connection matters too. Here's what I'm coming to see. Retirement doesn't just amplify the you you've always known, it reveals the you you've never seen before. It has a way of revealing things that you just never noticed before because life was so busy. I've always been comfortable with myself, and I still am, and I suspect that I always will be. But I wonder if there's a difference between choosing solitude and simply having gotten used to it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm Mel. What about you? Whether you're retired now or getting close to it, do you prefer to be around a lot of people like my wife? Or are you maybe more like me and prefer the solitude? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thank you.